Hi, Yokub. I haven't done a response to you in a very long time. I don't normally watch your videos, but I watched a video of yours that called, Christian Democrats are liars or something of that nature. I am not a Democrat, nor am I a Christian. So I kind of have an outsider's point of view to this. Well, I am a liberal, but I'm more liberal than a Democrat, so I'm a socialist. Um, So I wanted to comment on whether or not, Christians themselves should hold more conservative Republican philosophies, or should they hold more democratic or liberal philosophies, and how that would play in. Now, obviously, like I said, I'm not a Christian. I'm just going by, my scholarly opinion. Someone who has a humanities degree and focus on religion, and what it seems to me that the point of Christianity is, and how that plays out politically. So the first thing that I notice about Christianity itself is that the idea of being Christian is to not just believe that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, but also to attain to be like Him, and that following His path and His way, the narrow way, is the true path to salvation. Now, like I said, I don't believe this. This is just my interpretation of what Christianity is. If you disagree that Christians should try to attain to be Christ-like, please give me an idea of what it is that you think Christians should be like. Now, if you look at what Jesus said, first of all, Jesus never said anything about homosexuality. So the word homosexual didn't even exist in biblical times. So the whole idea that it's some big abomination that should be dealt with really comes from the Old Testament. Now, if you look at some of the older Old Testament sayings about, what should be done and not done, you'll notice that it also thinks that shellfish is an abomination. So if you're against gay marriage for biblical reasons, you should also be trying to ban Red Lobster. But Red Lobster is a big business, and of course Republicans are pro-business. So that kind of goes against the Republican philosophy of business, which is really the driving force behind what the Republican Party is about. It's not really religiously motivated as much as it would like to be. It seems to me that the religious people who are involved in the Republican Party, and I'm not saying all of them, obviously there's probably people who don't have a lot of money who are involved in the Republican Party as well, but only probably because they buy into the idea that the Republican Party is the party for Christians. If they really look at the philosophies of the Republican Party and how they would support big business and government instead of the people like Jesus would want, then they would probably, understand that it's probably not the party for them. But then a lot of people really go with, there's the big motivators for why people are part of a political party have to do with, social pressure and things like that and how they were raised. So for those people who are raised in, for example, pro-gun and, fiscally conservative households that happen to be Christian, those people would then associate their religious beliefs with that party, regardless of how that party actually supports their religious ideals. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't any pro-Christian ideas within the Republican Party, but they're far outshadowed by the idea of how, anti-Jesus the party is. We're talking about, a figure that I don't personally believe is divine, but many people do, and was very much for non-violence. Now, you talked about the Democratic Party being the party of murder because they're pro-choice. I don't think anybody is pro-abortion or pro-murder. There is really no pro-abortion point of view. There is a point of view that it should be a choice for those people who elect to use that as a form of ending one's pregnancy. And, a lot of people agree that there should be restrictions on that for the simple fact of we, have arguments about when the idea of life begins. I, for example, think that life begins in the second trimester, therefore allowing me to believe that trimester abortions are not only legal but should be legal and not murder. But of course you'll probably disagree with me on that. So it's not so much that they are pro-murder, it's just they have a different idea of when life begins. Also, going along the lines of the party being pro-murder, the Republican Party is very much pro-war and also pro-gun. So if we want to talk about, a party that is both, actually all three, let's hit the trifecta: pro-war, pro-gun, and pro-capital punishment. If you take all those three things, and I'm not saying that no Democrats ever believe in those philosophies, but they are considered to be more conservative philosophies, then obviously the Republican Party could also be called the party of murder, and therefore neither party really embodies what would be considered Christian values, nor should they, because our government should not be run by religion, and nor is it run by religion. So, the whole idea of someone belonging to a political party not being part of a particular religion because that party may embody philosophies that don't agree with their religion seems to me to be ridiculous, because I don't think anybody can say that they agree 100% with all the party platforms that come with being affiliated with a certain party. Our two-party system works the way that it does because there are two kind of diametrically opposed parties that hold philosophies, and you go to the one of which you agree with the most, not the one you agree with altogether. So even if you were to make the argument that abortion is in fact murder, which it's not, you could find Democrats who are not, pro-choice within the Democratic Party who obviously would affiliate themselves as being Christian. Not all the people who are not pro-choice consider themselves to be Christian, but I'm sure that there are people within the party that do embody that philosophy. So, on top of that, getting back to the whole idea of big business, Jesus said in the Bible, and I don't know the exact part of the Bible, but it's easier to get for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter heaven. Now, if you look at where the economic opinions lie and the economic, resources lie, most of the people who are in the top 1% consider themselves to be Republican. So therefore, they are rich men that, Jesus himself would say is extremely hard to get to heaven. So a party that embodies big business and making the top 1% richer instead of, filtering that money back down to the people and, helping them get the basic necessities for life, like socialism, is about, is, really to me, probably the least Christian idea, and Jesus backs that up himself. So the whole idea that there can't be such a thing as a Christian Democrat really falls flat at that point. It would seem to be more feasible, and I'm not saying that it is feasible, but it would be more feasible that there would not be a true Christian Republican instead, because of the philosophies that we talked about, using your own logic that, one would embody these philosophies if they're part of that party. So please, feel free to respond if you want to. I'm sure that you probably will. I know that you only really brought up two ideas, which is the one between gay marriage, which, like I said, Jesus never mentioned homosexuality, and the idea of abortion, which, we can discuss whether or not it's actually murder or not. I'm sure that you will disagree with me, but, and the idea that not everybody within the party embodies those philosophies. So, I think that's about it.